Welcome to the Asset Valuation Module training video, Amortizing Partial Asset Replacement. There will always be a need to replace a portion of an asset. Municipalities create sections for linear assets based on their knowledge of how the asset will be managed and replaced. Budget limitations often do not coincide with the original replacement strategy, and only a portion of these assets are replaced. Likewise, buildings and treatment plants often have extensive rehabilitation projects to parts of the facility. Partial replacement could be handled as a betterment to the asset, and if so, a life cycle event for the betterment could be added to the asset record and the capital expense amortized. The video, Add a Life Cycle Event, demonstrates how this is done. This video will discuss the steps needed if the partial replacement is considered a new asset and how to properly amortize the portion of the original asset that was not replaced. In this example, I have a road section, Road 400, that was 2 kilometers long. 1 kilometer of the original asset was completely reconstructed in 2010 at a cost of, let's say, $3 million. I want to treat the reconstructed portion of the asset as a new asset, and I want to continue to amortize the remaining value of the original asset without overstating the value of my total road assets. Let's get started. First, the original asset, Road 400, needs to be edited to revise the attribute information to reflect the remaining portion that was not reconstructed. In this example, length, area meter square, and location must be edited. Click the Edit button. Make the changes to the asset record and click Save. These changes update the asset record, but do nothing to change the value of the asset. If nothing else was done, the original value of the full 2 kilometers of asset would continue to be amortized, and the total value of the road assets would be overstated. To modify the asset's value, the next step is to access the latest asset valuation report for the road's assets and determine the ending value of the asset. Click on the Asset Valuation tab. Select the appropriate report. Click on the Capital Asset Depreciation Report tab in the tree. Find the asset Road 400. The December 31st, 2009 ending value of the asset is $879,336. Remember that this value reflects the value of the original 2 kilometers of asset. As the project replaced half of the asset, the value of the remaining asset is half the ending value, or $439,668. Return to the asset record for Road 400 and add an installation lifecycle event to the asset record with a total cost that reflects half the value of the original asset. Also add an adjusted replacement date that reflects the remaining useful life of the asset. In this example, the asset is 20 years into a 35-year useful life. The date when this asset will be fully amortized is December 31, 2025. If an adjusted replacement date is not added, the Asset Valuation module will amortize the lifecycle event over the useful life set for the asset category. You will need to make notes in the lifecycle event so the auditor can follow the changes made. So far we have dealt with the original asset. You'll now need to add a new asset record to include the area that was replaced. Click the Add Asset button. Input the required fields. Remember, you should have policy as to how the new asset will be numbered and included in the sequence of existing asset ID numbers. Populate the attributes used to generate the categories in the Asset Valuation module. Without these attributes, the asset will not be included in the next valuation report. Add any other attribute information you wish to save regarding the new asset, and click Save. All that is left is to add a lifecycle event for the total cost of completing the work. I chose Installation as the lifecycle event type. I set the date according to policy, in this case July 1, 2010. I added the component costs and descriptions to the event and the total cost of $3 million. The $3 million will be amortized over a 35-year useful life using the setup already saved in the Asset Valuation module. You can now create the next report using the Copy Report function. Click on the Asset Valuation tab, click the Copy Reporting Year button, select the report, and follow the steps in the Copy Report video to produce this report. The new asset has been added to the inventory and the amortization has begun. The initial value of the original asset has been adjusted to reflect the remaining value of half the original asset's closing value as of the last report.